Welcome back again to my channel. This is Why Smart Online, where we make every problem solvable. Today, we are asked to solve this question, and we should find 1 over 2 into bracket square root of x plus 2 over square root of x. This is a complex question. It is a kind of a question you have to know much of your sorts and how you can rationalize the sort, and you should be able to look into the conjugate sort and see what happened from there. And also, you should know much of your algebra formula. If you know all these, it will be easier. In my previous video, I gave out a trick on whenever you found yourself, if you need to rationalize a sort. If you rationalize this, what you are going to have is just remove this plus, turn into minus. This is going to give you 8 minus root 60. That is exactly what this is going to give you if you rationalize that. And it goes with many of the way you rationalize sort. So let's look into this. But I would remind you again, kindly subscribe to my channel. If you know that this video is going to be helpful to you, kindly subscribe to my channel. In that way, every of my video that goes out will definitely come to you. So the first thing to do under this is to rationalize this. How do we do that? Because we are asked to find this, but we should have this at the back of our mind that if we have x, if we are able to find root x, and we are also able to find 2 over root x, this question is solved. But how do we do that? How do we go about it? That is the main question, but we'll make it easier for you. So the first step is, let's rationalize this. X equals 4 over 8 plus root 60. So if you rationalize that, it means that you find the conjugate sort, you multiply it by the numerator and the denominator. The conjugate sort of this is going to be 8 minus root 60 divided by 8 minus root 60. So the conjugate sort is when you remove the positive side and you turn it into the negative. Like I said, if you rationalize this, you are going to have 8 minus root 60. But let's see if that is true or not. So now let's go into it. This is going to give us, you use this one, you distribute this 4 into this, or let's just say 4 into bracket 8 minus root 60. That is what we're going to have. So let us now look into this, the denominator. Whenever you're rationalizing any sort, don't waste too much of time, because what you just need to do, or what you need to multiply out, is multiply this out and multiply this out. That's it. The reason is that if you multiply this, you use 8 times 8, 64. Then use this 8 to multiply minus 60. That's 8 minus 8 root 60. Again, plus root 60 times 8 will give you plus 8 root 60. That means that cancels out. Then root 60 times minus root 60. So you only have 8 times 8 left. So what you have left is going to be 8 squared. Don't forget this minus. It supersedes the plus. So we have minus, then root 60 times root 60. What this is telling you is that if you have root 60 times root 60, it's telling you that you have the chance of bringing these 60 together, 60 times 60, root of 60 times 60. And that means you have 60 squared, the square root of 60 squared. And the square can cancel out the square root. So that means you're going to have 60. So that means that root 60 times root 60 is going to give you 60. So in that way, what do we have? We have 4 into bracket 8 minus 64 minus 60. And what do we have? We have 4 into bracket 8 minus root 60 divided by 64 minus 60 will give us 4. And what do we have? 4 cancels out 4, we're going to have 8 minus root 60. That means that if we rationalize all these, we're going to have 8 minus root 60. That is what I was saying, that we shouldn't take much of our time, that this, everything here is going to give 8 minus root 60. If that is fine, now it means that x equals 8 minus root 60. But what are we looking for? We're looking for root x, and we are looking for 2 root x. So I'm going to write this up here. X equals 8 minus root 60. In that way, I'll be able to take this off. So what will now be root x? If x equals 8 minus root 60, so we're looking for root x. So root x here is telling us that we take the square root of all this. But before we do that, we know that, let me remove this. We know that x also is equal to 8 minus root 60 is the same thing as 4 times 15, right? It's the same thing as 4 times 16, 4 times 15. So we have 8 minus, if we separate this, we're going to have root 4 times root 15. And this is going to give us 8 minus 2 root 15. So we have that as 8 minus 2 root 15, which is the same thing as saying 8 minus 2 into root 3 root 5. This is the same, root 3 root 5. But don't forget this formula that says that if we have root a minus root b all squared is the same thing as a plus b minus 2 root a plus b minus 2 root a root b. So don't forget this formula that says that the square root of a minus square root of b all squared is going to give us a plus b minus 2 root a root b. Then we can use the area that that is why I purposely write this root 15 as root 3 root 5. And if you see, this one is root a root b, and we have a plus b to give root a minus root b all squared. That means that, if you look at 8 is also can be written as 3 plus 5, right? 8 can be written as 3 plus 5 minus 2 root 3 root 5. If you take all these and you compare with this, so we're going to have 3 plus 5 minus 2 root 3 root 5. This is what we're going to have. So that means that everything we have here is the same thing as root 3, or let's say is the same thing as root 5 minus root 3 all squared. But to make it easier for us, let's take 5 in the front. Even though this does not really matter, but don't let us be in a confused way. Let me rewrite this. I'm going to rewrite this so that we know that our a equals 5, b equals 3. So this is 5 and this is 3. So I'm going to do the same. This is 5 and this is 3. So in that way, you can see that this is what we have. By using this formula that says square root of a minus square root of b all squared to give a plus b minus 2 into square root of a square root of b. So the same thing we apply here. That means that everything here is root 5 minus root 3 all squared. Is root 5 minus root 3 all squared. That means our x equals, this is all our s, this is x. So I'm representing this one as x, I'm representing this one as x. So that means our x equals root 5 minus root 3 all squared. So if that is the case, all squared, then we can since we have our x, we can then look for our root x. What will now be our root x? Root x will now be the square root of root 5 minus root 3 all squared. I'm pretty sure we're on the same page, right? If we're on the same page, root x will now be this. So this square cancel out the square root. So root x now will now be root 5 minus root 3. Root 5 minus root 3. Our x is 8 minus root 60. Root x will give us root 5 minus root 3. So I'm going to take this off. So the next thing we're going to look for is 2 over root x. We know that this is our root x, so we have 2 divided by root x, which is 5 minus root 3. Solving this is going to give us root 5 plus root 3. But still, there is no crime in trying. Let's see what this will give. So if you rationalize this is what we're going to have. We're going to have 2 over root 5 minus root 3. And the conjugate side of this one will be root 5 plus root 3 over root 5 plus root 3. So what do we have here? We have 2 into bracket root 5 plus root 3 over, just multiply this and this together and this together. So if you do this, that means this is going to be the square root of 25, which is the square root of 5 squared, and that's going to give us 5. Just take one of these. So this is going to give us 5. And this one minus root 3 times root 3 is still going to give you 3, because it's going to be, let me quickly say that, root 3 times root 3, which is going to give us square root of 9. And square root of 9 is 3. So just pick one of these. Pick one of these to give 5, and pick one of these to give minus 3. So that is that. And if you look at this truly, this is what we're going to have. 2 into bracket root 5 plus root 3 divided by 2. So this cancels out. So we are now left with root 5 plus root 3. You can see that it's also giving us the same thing like when you have this. Just look into the conjugate base. Sorry. Just look into the conjugate side of this, which is root 5 plus root 3. And that will be your answer for that. So without taking time of going into all this. So in that way, we also have 2 over root x to be root 5 plus root 3. So if we have that, then we can then solve for this. Let's solve for that. We're going to solve for, since we have everything we want, so we're going to solve for 1 over 2 into root x plus 2 over root x. This is what we want to solve for. So therefore, this becomes 1 over 2, the big bracket, root x, which is root 5 minus root 3, plus 2 over root x. This is 2 over root x, which is root 5 plus root 3. So in that way, what do we have left? We have square of what? Root 5 minus root 3. So root 3 cancel out, minus root 3 cancel out root 3. So we are left with root 5 plus root 5, which is 2 root 5. So 2 cancels out, so we only have root 5 as the answer. Root 5 is the answer to that question. As you can see, don't be scared when you see a complex question in this way. But what do you do? Sit down, think about what do you know about that topic. For example, this is how you rationalize a sword. What do you know about rationalizing a sword? When you know that, do you know about the conjugate sword? When you know that, do you have any trick that you know that whenever you're solving sword, how do you make it faster for you? And what can you do within that time? Once you know all that, it will be easier for you. You can see that it is very, very easy. But if you look at it, how do I go about it? Okay, for some students will say x equal, since they know that x equal 8 minus root 60. So they want to find the square root of x, which is going to be the square root of 80 minus. This is making it difficult. Or some students, they just want to find the 2, they want to find 2 over root x, which is 2 divided by root of 8 minus root 60. How will you be able to do that? So it's going to be a complex one. But if you know your way, that, okay, let me take this step by step, and you know 1 or 2 formula that you can put together, like we did, to solve it out. That's it. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching my video. I'll be very grateful if you can press the subscribe button, so that the next time my video is being uploaded, it will be definitely coming straight to you. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.